What's up, everybody? Josh Armijo here. I hope everybody's doing good and well and stuff. I got an Arsenal inventory update to do for you guys, vinyl this time, and I have another stack of wax to run through for you guys here today. But first off, what we're listening to in the background, Infestor, To the Depths in Degradation, iconic American death metal. I don't think I need to say too much else other than this is a masterpiece. Alright, we're going to be all over the board with this set of vinyl here, and the first record I'm going to talk to you about is a 2020 reissue that was announced last year, but because of the whole pandemic, it took a while for everything to get straightened out and cleared up, but the vinyl finally showed up, everything started shipping, and now here we are with some very, very underappreciated metal from Florida. This is Into the MOAT with the design. Yeah, Into the MOAT with the design. Yeah, this is originally released in 2005 on Metal Blade Records, and this is their debut full-length. And if you're not familiar with Into the MOAT, like I said, they're based out of Florida, and they play this very, very abstract, riff-heavy sort of style of metal, mathcore, jazz influence, progressive in certain nature. They put out a really, really killer EP, I want to say back in 1999 or 2003. I don't remember the date specifically, but they put out an EP, Ends by Which the Means Are Justified. I think that's what it's called. And then they came out with this debut album, and there is a lot of crazy influences to be heard throughout this entire album. A lot of really great vocals, a lot of memorable riffs, very progressive, jazzy sort of parts. I mean, songs like Empty Shell, Dead Before I Stray, The Inexorable, Beyond Treachery. Just some seriously top-notch songs from a band that I think deserves a lot more love and appreciation than what they got. Of course, they followed this album up with an equally brilliant album called The Campaign. I would love to see The Campaign get a vinyl treatment one of these days, but until then, I'm glad the design is being reintroduced in the form of this awesome vinyl. So anyway, here's the front cover. Love this album cover art. Love the matte finish going on here. I should also point out that Silent Pendulum Records are the ones who reissued this, so they're a pretty solid label when it comes to reissuing classic metal, hardcore, metalcore, whatever sort of releases. They're a very diverse sort of label when it comes to that stuff. Here's the back cover, track listings, record labels shown here. Comes with a printed lyric sheet. You got some artwork on one side, lyrics on the other side. And the vinyl version came out on multiple sort of variants, and I know every single one of these were very limited. I believe, to the best of my knowledge, this LP is sold out. But I was lucky enough to grab this gold vinyl variant on, gold vinyl with heavy black splatter. Looks absolutely gorgeous. Vinyl quality and presentation is top-notch. I'm very, very happy and pleased with how everything turned out with this record. So yeah, Into the MOAT are a classic mathcore band, and I don't think they get the respect they deserve. They definitely deserve your time and attention. Go look up The Campaign. Go look up the design. Go look up Into the MOAT. They're fucking sick. Next up is another vinyl release that was supposed to have come out last year, but was now only getting finally released on vinyl. This is easily one of the best electronic projects to ever exist right now, and I definitely think the more music we hear from this project, the better. This is God is War with Plucking the Sun Out of the Sky. Yeah. This is a 2020 release through Deathbed Tapes, and of course, if you know Deathbed Tapes, they're a label that specializes in putting out harsh noise, power electronics, and all sorts of other crazy sorts of extreme music. And this is one of the few times you'll see this label dabble into vinyl sort of territory. I know they did a Deathbed Rising. I forget the name of that project, but it's that Masana project that they did. They did vinyl for that, but this is another vinyl version. And if you're not familiar with God is War, it is basically one half of the project Terror Cell Unit. Mac, he does Terror Cell Unit, Kufar, Sutek Hexen, I believe he's involved in that project, and I know he was recently on the new Portrayal of Guilt album, but this is his project. Just like Sam has Crawl of Time, Mac has God is War, and God is War is just an absolute mindfuck of a project. I mean, it's power electronics, it's electronic music, it's dubstep, it's ambient, it's dark. It's seriously dark and fucked up sort of music, and there's been many different releases from this project over time, over the last several years. From what I understand, this is the debut album from God is War, if I'm not mistaken. But if this is the real, true introduction to what God is War is about, I honestly think this is an album that comes out swinging and is unrelenting from the minute you put it on. Plucking the sun out of the sky, demons and their midnight whispers, prayers of downfall, seriously killer songs to be heard on here. And there's even a couple of really killer remixes of the songs Sadness Will Prevail and Prayers of Downfall. Absolutely phenomenal music going on here. And if you're a fan of dark electronic music, I believe God is War is the project to be checking out. So anyway, here's the front cover. Like all Deathbed tape releases, very minimalistic album cover going on here. Back cover with track listing and information. Yeah, you may forget with whom you laughed with, but you will never forget with whom you wept for. Very powerful quote there. And the vinyl copy, I believe, is limited to 166 copies, and I believe they all came on this very nice orange vinyl. Very, very top quality here. Side A, side B. Amazing, amazing work from Deathbed Tapes. But yeah, if you want to get into God is War, I would highly recommend checking out Plucking the Sun Out of the Sky. Terrific electronic music. Go check this one out. Alright, from scary music to more calming and relaxing music, this is a little bit of a different sort of release here, and I'm very, very happy to own this piece of Dungeon Synth. This is Grandma's Cottage with a self-titled release. Yeah. I believe this was a 2019-2020 release through Phantom Lore, and if you're not familiar with Grandma's Cottage, it is a one-person project based out of the US, and this is probably one of the more unique and interesting sorts of sub-genres within Dungeon Synth. Of course, I'm referring to Comfy Synth. Comfy Synth is a very, very weird sort of subgenre of Dungeon Synth, because instead of the dark, medieval sort of stuff you would hear in current-day Dungeon Synth, Comfy Synth relies on the more wholesome, at-heart sort of nature. With Grandma's Cottage, you have two very distinctive EP releases that were released around the same time, but are now compiled into one compilation through the Phantom Lore vinyl release. And I definitely feel that this embodies what the Comfy Synth sound is all about. It's very peaceful, it's very relaxing, it's very serene, and you hear it on songs like Milk Glass and Apple Tree and Snickerdoodle and Jelly Jewels. I think this is some seriously creative and energetic sort of stuff. I mean, there's some other projects that do the Comfy Synth sort of thing very well. I mean, you have this project, you have Friendly Donut Shop, which is another really prolific sort of project out right now. There's a couple of others at the top of my head that I know do this stuff very well, but they're not coming to me at the moment. But Grandma's Cottage is one of those figureheads of this whole Comfy Synth sort of sound. It's not going to be for everybody's taste, but if you want to listen to some very chill, relaxed, emotive sort of synth music, I think this Grandma's Cottage's release and compilation is worth checking out. So anyway, here's the front cover. Love the album covers of the drawings of the houses. Very nice here. I'm going to turn this upside down to reveal the other Grandma's Cottage cover, which I think is very, very nice. Kind of weird that it's sort of, you flip it around. That's how you do these album covers. It's pretty crazy. But anyway, it comes with a printed sheet here. I believe, I want to say this is the person behind the project, or if this is just some random photograph going on here. Either which way, I think this is very cool. Opposite side, you have track listings, and you have some recipes for some very cool food items, which I think is a nice little touch in order to keep up with the Grandma's Cottage aesthetic. And I know this was released on multiple vinyl variations, and the copy that I was able to get was on standard black vinyl, heavyweight black vinyl, side A, side B, 45 RPM. Yeah, really, really top-notch, comfy synth, dungeon synth, whatever the hell you want to refer to it as. But I'm behind it, and I absolutely love it. So yeah, Grandma's Cottage, go check this one out. Next up, we have some very eclectic extreme metal from multiple parts of the United States. This is Evaporated Sores with Ulcerous Dimensions. Yeah, this is released through Sentient Ruid Laboratories. And if you're not familiar with Evaporated Sores, they are a trio based out of the US. And they play a very unique sort of style of death and doom metal with a heavy emphasis on experimentation and power electronics. I think this is a very, very underappreciated debut. I definitely was late to the party with something like this, but I'm glad I was able to get a hold of something like this sooner rather than later, because I think this is a very, very good album. And if you're into death doom with unique power electronic sounds and the industrial experimentations, Ulcerous Dimensions is the album for you to be checking out. I mean, Claimed by Inertia, Regurgitated Existence, Infinite Remission, just some really, really dark and twisted sounding stuff. And of course it fits the whole Sentient Ruid Laboratories aesthetic with the experimental sounds and creations. But this is a very impressive album, and I definitely look forward to hearing more from them in the future. So anyway, here's the front cover. Matte finish on the jacket, very, very nice. Love the album cover art. Beautiful, beautiful stuff. Back cover with track listings and credits. It's a very minimalist sort of package. There's no lyric sheet or anything like that. It just comes on a standard black vinyl. Side A, side B. But it's very well done and very well executed, as to be expected from anything that Sentient Ruin releases. But yeah, if you're into death doom with crazy experimentation, I would highly recommend you check out Evaporated Sores with Ulcerous Dimensions. Go check this one out. And last but not least, we're going to do a complete 180-degree turn and talk about some music that I don't really talk about on this channel all that much. And that is hip-hop. Of course, I listen to rap and hip-hop a lot. I'm definitely in the know, or try to stay in the know with what's going on. But when I'm not listening to the new stuff, I'm knee-deep into the older stuff. And this is a vinyl release that I have been excited for a while. I was very lucky to get a hold of it before it ended up getting flipped for 2 to 3 times the price. This is Tear the Club Up Thugs with Crazy in the Last Days. Yeah. This was originally released in 1999 through Relativity Records, and this is the 2020 vinyl edition through Get On Down Records. Yeah. If you're not familiar with Tear the Club Up Thugs, it's basically 3 members of the legendary Tennessee-based hip-hop project known as 3-6 Mafia. DJ Paul, Juicy J, and Lord Infamous, rest in peace. This is a crazy, crazy piece of 3-6 Mafia history. Of course, I don't need to say too much about 3-6 Mafia, about their legacy, what kind of music they've made, what kind of legacy they've created as a hip-hop group. This is an absolutely legendary project, but this Tear the Club Up Thugs album is absolutely iconic in every sense of the word. There are more than one pieces of legendary songs to be heard throughout this entire album, like Huda Crunkest, Throw Your Sets, Undercover Freaks, Get Buck, Get Wild, Hypnotize Cash Money, which is an absolutely wonderful collaboration with all the Cash Money Records guys from back in the days, with Juvenile and the Big Timers, BG and Lil Wayne, the Hot Boys and all of them, Push 'Em Off, Slob on My Knob. iconic songs here. And I definitely would consider this to be one of the greatest 3-6 Mafia releases ever. I'm very happy that this was released on vinyl. I did buy the CD of this when it came out all those decades ago. But I absolutely love this album. So anyway, here's the front cover. Legendary album cover art, pen and pixel graphic style going on here. There you see the 3 members in question, the guest lists, the blinged out Crazy in the Last Days back cover with track listings and more information. Comes with a printed sheet. There you have another photo of the 3 members of Tear the Club Up Thugs. Track listing and information and credits. There you see, of course, DJ Paul and Juicy J did the vast majority of the production on this. And this is a Record Store Day exclusive. I don't know the limitation on this, but I was able to get the one that came on this clear vinyl with magenta pink and black splatter. Absolutely beautiful quality. Sounds amazing. Really, really pleased and happy with how this turned out. But yeah, if you are a fan of 3 6 Mafia and you have not heard this piece of their history, I would highly recommend getting into it. But yeah, Crazy in the Last Days by Tear the Club Up Thugs, essential Southern hip-hop classic. So yeah, I'm going to conclude this video. I'm going to leave you some links to some of the albums I talked to you about here in this video. If you happen to have heard or own any of these releases, definitely let me know what you think about it, how you feel about it, and we can go from there. Have a great rest of your weekend. Thanks a lot for watching. Thanks for checking out my channel. Until the next time, I'm Miho out.